Auditor Litz.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for reassembling here once again. Friday afternoon, staff was down going through the poll books for uploading the voter history. And at that point, we discovered that in VP4, there were 164 uncounted ballots that were mixed in with the unvoted ballots. So we went across the street to our locked place, got into a sealed ballot box with the unvoted ballots in there, and discovered the existence of 164 ballots. So at that point, I called the Secretary of State's office and had a talk with Kia and Chantel. And it's unaddressed in statute as to what to do in a situation like this. And so they suggested I get a hold of our state's attorney's office, which I did, and Judy and I worked Saturday to look at some things. And there were some cases that were similar to it. But basically, the conclusion that Judy came to, and I did forward you folks, or Carol forwarded you folks a legal opinion, was that if the ballots were in a reasonably safe and unsecured place, that the rights of the voters to be enfranchised to vote would not be violated. So with that, I thought that the right thing to do would be to assemble a resolution board, and we would also get a tabulation board, go across the street, run the ballots through, and add them to the totals of total vote. Sunday afternoon, we got total vote unlocked, and we added the totals up, and the result of that is something that you have in front of you right now with the additional 164 ballots. The outcomes in none of the races were affected, just added to the totals to them. That's a little bit beside the point, but it's also a point of relief to my office that we're not in a situation such as that. And so today, what I'm asking for is that we sign the certificate and put this business to rest. So.
Okay. Are there any questions for Auditor Litz?
Well, obviously, none of us really wanted to be here today to do this. I'm curious about the process. I mean, in my mind, there's good news and bad news here today. I mean, bad news is that we're here again. The good news is that there is a process that you guys follow, that when you followed that process, you discovered by the check and balance system, the way I understand it, that that there were votes that were unaccounted for and you were able to go find them. I'm curious about the timing of our vote last Friday. I mean, is it typical that you guys are doing follow-up work after we certify the vote? Is there a way that we should have waited till all of that work was done before we certified the vote?
You know, Commissioner, I'm glad you asked that question. In the past, what we have done is held the canvass on Friday because the state canvass happens this morning at 10 o'clock. And we like to get that information in there in case there's any issues on it. And so typically, yes, we do have it on Friday, and typically, no, we do not have a situation like this. I would tell you that a lot of the pink sheets, which is the ballot recap sheet that happens out in the precinct, there were a lot of them with issues this time. And we did go back into a lot of the ballot boxes of the ones that had bad math on them, check them out. We didn't find any additional ballots. What we did find was a lot of math mistakes. This one, however, escaped our attention that night because we had about 20 of them, and this is the one that had the extra ballots, or the uncounted ballots. And so, yeah, it was a gaffe that night, certainly was, regrettably so. But like you said, the system of checks and balances did work, and these ballots are being counted, and we're going to enfranchise those voters' opinions.
So if you've been through it once, I'm just trying to understand the process. So why were you going through it again on Friday afternoon when you discovered this error?
Because the last thing that we do for our checks and balances is we upload the voter history. And then when we do that, you've got to go through the poll book page by page, every one of them, and look at there and see what those voters did, and then upload their history. And it was at that point that we discovered that the number of people that are voting, there's no end tally in that poll book. We have to hand count that. And then it was discovered that there were 303 votes cast, and we were 164 short, so we went looking and found them.
So is that something we could do before Friday, the next time we have so before we do the original canvas? I mean, has it been done in the past that way? Or
No,
have
we've always done it this way, trying to get it in by Friday. We've just never had the number of pink sheets that have been not correct this way here. And so there was an assumption that what we've got was correct going forward, and I regret that we met here Friday, but like you said, good news, bad news scenario, here we are again. We did catch it. So I would be, we're certainly looking at ways of doing it, but I would tell you this too, that we had the election Tuesday night. Wednesday morning, I've had 4 and 5 people at times uploading voter history. And then it took till Friday till we found that out. It's a big job. And here we are.
Additional questions?
Could we put some more horsepower on that? Probably, get her done in one day. I could get 10 people down there and we could go through there, and that probably sounds like a practical solution so we don't have this situation again.
Commissioner Karski?
Bob, you said something about the bad math on the pink sheets. I mean, that's kind of where the problem kind of started, that snowballed into this?
It's a problem every election, and I would tell you some of my workers, and they're great people. They're patriots, and I am loath to speak ill of them in any way, but it's a 14-hour day, and some of them at the end of that day are tired. There's other people bothering them to try to, what should I do with the tables and chairs? They want to get out of here, deliver the ballot boxes. They've already worked 14 hours, and I think I attribute a lot of that to that. So could I get superintendents that would be more inclined to do things correctly? That is always my goal. However, getting this election was a smaller one. I had 272 people, and it's hard to find folks out there. It truly is.
So you have one superintendent that is in charge of doing the math on that pink sheet?
That's
and there's
correct.
no-
Or, some of the places have the same people that have been doing it for a long time, and they all help out and they all pitch in. To complicate this election, we had a Republican ballot, a Democrat ballot, and an independent ballot. And those all had to keep, they had to keep them separate. And we also had poll lists for each and every one of them. Now, it would seem, it's a little more complex this time. And then I would also tell you, we had 23 different ballots to spread out among 71 precincts. That's the most I've ever had. Usually we're down near 15, 16 ballots. It's much more manageable. In the next general election, we're going to have 8 ballots, much more manageable. So I think with the number of ballots, dividing them all up, it just became a little more complicated for some folks that maybe were tired at the end of the night.
Additional comments? Commissioner Bard?
Bob, well, thank you for bringing this forward because, it's got to be difficult for you and your staff. And honestly, at some point, it could have been tempting to try to cover it up. You didn't. I appreciate that very much. We also feel a little embarrassed about this. And, as county commissioners, we've enhanced your operation with machines that count faster, et cetera, like this. And I think that, if adding a little more horsepower at the end to make sure this can be accomplished before we canvass the vote would not be completely out of the realm of possibility, tight as our budgets are. But Minnehaha County is, I think, our greatest county in South Dakota, and we should have a perfect result whenever possible. Thank you.
To that, I would just tell you that there's other counties out there. A lot of them have had issues along these lines too. There's never, ever been a perfect election. And if auditors honest, they're going to tell you that. There's always things that happen out there. And we strive. We really do. For some reason, this election was just some funny things happened. And, I actually had an 86-year-old gal that had voted absentee and was allowed to vote at the poll in spite of the thing at the poll book. Both the poll worker and her, she voted in May absentee while the city elections were going over. We had a 4-day ramp up of when our absentee started and the cities ended. She just became confused. Was it intentional on her part? No. Was it intentional on that person with the poll book that didn't read the voted thing in there? No. And so, there's dozens of little things that happen every election night, and we are basically, it's like whack-a-mole, and you got to run around, do what you can to stop these things from happening. But I would tell you, we strive, we work hard, and everybody is conscientious about what we do down there. Things just happen, and if you think that things haven't happened in the past, that's just utter fiction.
Commissioner Karski?
How much training does an election worker receive before they are sitting at that table?
A lot of them had gone through the city election school, which there's a lot of parallels in that, and they'd gone through that twice. And then I hold a dozen classes, and I have them at 10 o'clock in the morning, 1:30 in the afternoon, 3:30 in the afternoon, and 6:30 in the evening. And I do that 12 times, and my classes last about an hour and a half.
So they have an hour and a half of training.
Yes.
Okay.
And we give them $15 for it, so if you break that down, it's not a, you know, it's
And
not
a
a whole lot.
supervisor receives the same training then?
The supervisors receive the same training, and when we do go over the supervisor's duty, and there's also an instruction sheet in there, which is rather, has a little volume and heft to it, and I'm not sure that gets the proper attention that it should all day, you know, all the time. When I pick poll workers out, we always try to match some experience with new people. And I would also tell you that when I first got here, probably 10–15% of the population of poll workers decided that it was time in their lives to get out of it. And so we lost a lot of that institutional memory that gets carried along. But I never have a poll that has all new people on it. You just can't do that.
Additional comments?
Just, Bob, there's a prayer that goes, Lord, I know I'm a sinner and I know I'll sin again, but please, Lord, don't make me the same sin. And, you know, I say that because here we had Mark Millage, who had precisely the same issue 4 years ago. And I guess if you have those divided precincts, divided between legislative districts, I'd send an extra person there, you know, to make sure that things are ready to go. And, you know, don't let it be the same sin.
You know, I would tell you that we had the two precincts side by side. Mr. Millage got the ballot with the extra race on it. He should have just got the standard Republican ballot. That ballot, the superintendent says it wasn't there. That ballot was 10 feet away. 10 feet away. And, you know, Mr. Millage said that he knows more, you know, about that because of his background with Kello TV, and I probably think that's accurate. But if he knew that, why does he come down here? And why do people go to their legislator? I'm the guy that can fix it, and I can fix it that morning if they give me a call and give me a shot. Instead, they choose political opportunism. They want to do some grandstanding and make a point. And I get that. I mean, I'm a partisan. I'm a Republican up here. The race is partisan. But, you know, if people have got an issue with the ballot out there, call the auditor's office. That's where the fix is. But everybody, you know, I mean, there's a lot of people that do call the auditor's office, and we get a lot of things ironed out that you don't even see. And then there's other people who want to go a different route.
Madam Chair.
We're the ones that can fix it.
Commissioner Barron?
Mark Millage said they did call the auditor's office and they told him to vote the ballot they'd handed him.
When that call for the auditor's office they were told what the correct ballot was. That's what happened. Now, Mr. Millage, I'm not sure if he was privy to the phone conversation. I doubt if they had it on speakerphone. But they were told what ballot to give them, and they gave him the wrong one.
Well, don't complain that they didn't call you and are making a political thing out of this, because it's actually just a technical thing that you need to work on, we need to work on, and our county needs to do better on.
I'd agree.
Is there any other comments from the commission? Otherwise, is there anyone from the public that would like to make a comment at this time? Otherwise, we will have a vote to certify the election. No one? Okay.
You know, just so you know, now, you know, there's been some talk about, you know, this canvas and the timing of it. And in South Dakota, administrative rules of South Dakota 5.02.17.12, duties of the official board of canvassers for local jurisdiction. The duties of the official board of canvassers for a local jurisdiction are as follows. Number one, open the returns from each precinct which are found in the poll book. Number two, satisfy itself that the returns are genuine and not forged. I don't think there's any question about that. Tabulate the returns from the precincts in the certification of the provisional ballot count. We do the provisional ballot count and certify that. And declare the result. And number five, make an abstract. In the past and in the future, we have our checks and balances. And yes, it is a bit of a leap of faith, because for us to expect you guys to go through all 71 of those poll books and look at that, it's a matter of timing. And so I don't think we want to put that responsibility on. If you want it, we'll bring in those 71 poll books up here. I'll get every ballot box out of that place across the street that's unsealed. We'll get all the poll lists. We'll get all the results from the tabulators. And if you folks want to go through it, we'll help you. We'll help you. But it will eat up a lot of your time. And so in the past, we've never done that where you guys are looking at the poll book. Now, in a small county where they've got 2,500 voters, that's a different story. But right in here, you know, you had 19,000 ballots, and it'd take you a while to go through them. If you want that, we can do it.
Commissioner Karski?
Bob, when you ran these It was VP 04. Who was present when those votes were counted?
I think they went through machine number 2. And typically, when we get a pink sheet in and the math is bad, what we'll do is take the ballots over, run it through, and then we check the math for mistakes. And it invariably is a math mistake, and it works out. In this case here, we did go, it was set aside, and we were going to go back and get that box somehow. In the excitement of everything that was going on there, it did
But
not
when
get
you
done.
when you ran the votes through the machine, you were there. Who else was there?
Well, I have 3 machines, there's 6 people on it, we have, the resolution boards are all there. I'm there, I think Heather might not, I don't know if Heather was there. I've got other staff that unpacks the ballot boxes, I've got other staff that does the tally on the pink sheet. I've got other people that jiggle the ballots, I've got other people that run the ballots over to the machine, so there was a lot of people. If you're asking who's responsible, that's me, Dean.
No. I'm
That's
just
me.
wondering who
Making
was,
sure you
when
weren't
we
the only one in
run
the
the
room.
numbers.
Oh,
You weren't the only one in the room.
no,
Yeah.
no.
And
No.
now, we're at this point, and going forward, November, we'll have another election. When the numbers are given to us to canvass, how do we know that this many people voted and there were this many ballots? I mean, kind of to Commissioner Bender's question, is there a way that we can see that there is a corresponding numbers on what
Well,
happens?
the ballots that we ran through were on the first sheet as well as the added 164 ballots that are on the other one. The only way that you can ascertain that personally, for you to do that, is to go into those poll books and get the voter lists out and do the hand count.
So there's nothing that you can give us that says this many people voted and this was the total?
I can go over, get all the ballots out of the unvoted ballot boxes, we can bring them here, all 71 precincts, the voted ballots. We've got the poll list that people sign when they come in here. And then I can get you the poll books, and I can get you the provisional ballots, and I can get you the spoiled ballots. And we can go through all that if you wish.
To Dean's question, though, I mean, it sounds to me like there is this check and balance that you ran on Friday afternoon. Is there a way that you can run the report that shows us that we showed on the pink sheets that this many people voted, and then we ran this many votes, and that's how many people voted at that precinct?
Well, I think the answer here is to go through those poll books as quickly as we can the next day. And if I got to put a dozen people on down there, I suppose that's what we should do. Go through there, because that's your third check and balance. And it worked this time. I mean, I've never had it work before because we've never had this situation.
Well, I think that is at least one thing that can be learned, any difficult situation, you try to learn what you can and move forward. That we not meet as a group until all the checks and balances have been run, so.
Well, and before, there's been times in the past where I've had one person, or Heather's had one person, run all those, go ahead and upload the voter history, and it takes her 3 weeks by herself. This time here, we jumped on it, discovered it Friday. I would also tell you that, the state return happens at 10 o'clock this morning, and that cushion is built in there to address situations like this, and so it's provided for in statute. We caught it, here we are. I got to get these results into the state.
Is there a motion to approve the canvass?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Other comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. We are adjourned.
Thank you, Commission.
Thank you.
I think we all have to sign this
Yes.
before you leave.
Again.